All right, let's get right into it. When most people hear 5G, they think one thing: my phone will be faster. And yeah, that's true, but that's kind of like saying the internet was just about getting email faster. What we're actually looking at is a massive technological shift, one that is totally rebuilding our world from the ground up, whether we see it or not.
And if you want a sense of just how big this shift is, look at this number. By the end of 2025, which is right around the corner, we're talking about 2.9 times billion 5G subscriptions. I mean, to put that in perspective, that's nearly the entire population of North and South America combined. This is not some niche thing for tech nerds anymore. It is a global wave, and it's happening right now.
So first up, let's just wrap our heads around how huge and how fast this global takeover really is. We're talking about getting about a third of all mobile users on the planet connected in just a handful of years. It's wild.
Now, while this is happening everywhere, not everyone is hitting the gas pedal at the same speed. Just look at North America, projected to hit almost 80% penetration by the end of 2025. This isn't a slow trickle. In some parts of the world, it's an absolute flood, giving them a massive head start in figuring out what to do with all this new tech.
And this timeline just shows you the insane trajectory we're on. We're just a couple of years away from 2027. That's the year 5G is set to officially kick 4G off the throne and become the #1 mobile tech on the planet. And by 2031, over 6 billion users. The momentum here is just undeniable.
So, what does this all mean for, the actual data flying through the air? Well, get this. Even without being the majority of users yet, 5G networks are going to carry almost half of all mobile data by 2025. That tells you one thing. People on 5G are using way, way more data, which is exactly what it was built for, and it's a huge clue about how our online habits are changing.
Okay, so let's bring this down from that huge global scale and look at how this tech wave is actually starting to change our day-to-day lives, starting right inside our own homes.
One of the first, most real-world uses for 5G isn't even for your phone. It's for your home internet. It's called Fixed Wireless Access, or FWA. And it's basically a wireless replacement for that chunky old cable that runs into your house. And believe me, it is a total game changer for how we get online.
And here's why it's such a big deal. The old way meant booking a technician, waiting around all day, drilling holes in your walls, you know the drill. The new 5G way, they send you a box, you plug it in, and boom, you have super fast internet. It's just so much simpler, it's more flexible, and for a lot of people, it is a massive, massive upgrade.
And just to really hammer home how big this shift is, look at this number. That's how many people are expected to be using FWA for their home internet by 2031. So this isn't some quirky little alternative, it's on its way to becoming a mainstream way the world gets online, cutting that cord for good.
So what are we all doing with all this amazing new internet? Well, let's be honest, we're watching video. A staggering 76% of all mobile data traffic will be video by 2025. Our endless appetite for streaming everything from movies to TikToks is basically the engine driving this whole revolution. We demand better video, so we need better networks.
Okay, so we've seen the scale and we've seen how it's hitting us at home. Now let's look at some really cool examples of how 5G is creating completely new ways of doing business and entertainment, stuff that just wasn't possible before.
So our first case study takes us to Singapore, where a telecom company called Singtel got tired of the same old game, just offering more data for less money. They started asking a really interesting question: what if we could sell the quality of the connection itself?
And this is how they pulled it off. Using a cool piece of tech called network slicing, they basically created virtual VIP lanes on their network. So a regular customer gets the standard experience, but for a few bucks more, you can get the enhanced plan, which guarantees you double the speed when you're in a crowded stadium or a concert. And for a real premium, you get the priority lane, a guaranteed 4 times speed boost. You see, you're not just buying data anymore. You're buying a better, more reliable experience. It's a completely new way of thinking about what connectivity is worth.
Next up, the modern workplace. The old way of doing IT security was like a castle, right? If you were inside the office walls, you were trusted. But now, in our world of hybrid work, those castle walls have basically dissolved. So a new 5G-enabled model called Zero Trust, used by companies like SoftBank, assumes no location is safe. Security is tied to you and your device, giving you safe, seamless access from anywhere without a clunky, slow VPN. It means whether you're at home, a coffee shop, or the office, you're just as secure.
And the reason businesses are jumping on this? It's powerful.
Companies that switch their IT over to this 5G-centric zero-trust model could slash their total costs by as much as 50%. So it's more secure, it's more flexible for employees, and it's cheaper. It's a no-brainer.
Okay, for our last case study, let's go to one of the most intense environments you can imagine: high-speed sailboat racing. This is SailGP, where these incredible catamarans are literally flying across the water at almost 100 kilometers an hour. We're talking about races being decided by inches and milliseconds.
Now, to win by a millisecond, these teams need a constant flood of real-time data. And this one quote just says it all. 53 billion data requests on a single race day. Think about that. Everything from sensors on the boat to live video feeds and split-second analytics, all of it has to be transmitted instantly and perfectly over a 5G network. It is the ultimate stress test, and it proves that this technology can perform under the most insane conditions.
So far, we've seen how 5G is changing how we consume stuff and interact with the world. But to really understand where this is all going, we have to look at how 5G is setting the stage for the next massive tech wave: artificial intelligence.
We've established that we are moving just mind-boggling amounts of data around. But that raises a really important question. Is all this data just for us to consume more stuff? Or is there something else going on here? The answer is a huge shift in how we use these networks. See, the next generation of gadgets, AR glasses, self-driving cars, smart drones, they're not just going to be consuming data. They're going to be constantly capturing the world around them and sending that data up to the cloud for AIs to process. And that is going to cause a massive, massive surge in demand for upload speed.
And all of this activity, it has a pretty big consequence. Just look at the growth in power consumption in data centers. It's being driven almost entirely by the demands of AI. So while the 5G networks themselves are getting more energy efficient, the AI brains they're feeding are incredibly power hungry. This is one of the biggest challenges we're going to have to solve as we build out this new connected world.
And that brings us to the most important takeaway. For decades, our networks have been built around one primary idea: downloading content to our screens. But 5G, working hand in hand with AI, is flipping that script entirely. The next great technological leap isn't going to be about downloading a digital world. It's going to be about creating a digital copy of our own world by uploading it piece by piece in real time. And that, well, that changes everything.